We'll start with an opening statement, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Sounds good. Hello, my name is Kevin Cardoza. I'm the new head volleyball coach at the University of Lynchburg. I've been here since the end of April. Prior to being at Lynchburg, I was the assistant coach at Virginia Tech for the last 4.5 years. So quick 90-minute trip right up the road here to Lynchburg. Didn't have a lot of time with our team when I first got hired. I got hired end of April. We did one practice, one spring tournament, and then they kind of went right into summer break. They worked really hard over the summer, and we can see what those dividends have paid off to be. When they came back here for August for preseason, they were ready to go, which was awesome for me. A couple of things I think for me that have been really important, and I can't express this enough of how proud I am of this team. They went through all of last spring without a coach. I kind of came in a little bit late. New face, new systems, new philosophies on different stuff. And their work ethic, their commitment to excellence, and their togetherness have been paramount above everything else. So they've been a joy to be around. I've really enjoyed coaching them for the last week and a half. Really excited to kind of get going here on Friday, opening up down at Averett to play Meredith at noon. But I just really can't express the amount of growth I've seen in this program and how honored and excited I am to be their coach, but also work at this university and help build this volleyball program to get some championship banners up on the wall.
Coach, in year one, what are your initial goals and expectations for this unit?
Yeah, I think an easy goal for us is want to finish ODAC regular season top 4. Finishing top 4 gives us the ability to host a playoff game here at the University of Lynchburg, which we haven't been able to do since 2020. So for me, that's a really quick, easy goal. I have a lot of confidence and full belief in this program to go out there and be in a conference finals. And, when you kind of get to that point, it's kind of a flip of the coin, right? Like any given day, anybody can beat anybody. But from day one, when I got hired here and when I was interviewing with the kids, I said, I'm coming in here to help you guys achieve the goals that you set forth, and their goals to go out there and ring the bell and win a championship. And that's what I'm here to try to help guide them to. But I think our nice, easy goal would be to, be top 4 at the end of the year and host a playoff game. And, anybody can win at any given day at that point. So,
to follow up on that, Coach, how do you get to that goal?
Yeah, a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of sacrifice and a lot of hard work. Preseason wasn't easy. We were in here a couple times a day doing some different position stuff. And, we've had to work really, really hard. They've done that at levels that exceeded my expectation. Obviously, it's easy to say, hey, we want to go out and win this. We want to be able to do that. It's a lot harder to actually tangibly be able to do it. Over these 8 or 9 days, they've demonstrated that they have the tools necessary and they have the work ethic and they have the belief in each other and as a program to be able to go out there and compete. So we train a lot. We're pretty technical. I got a great staff around me, with Thomas Chandler, Ryan Turner, Nathan's here, as well as our beach coach, and then Kristen Hardy, who was a 2-time Coach of the Year, 2-time state champ in Virginia. Like, we have a great staff who knows a lot of years of experience, and I got a group of kids that are going to work their tails off to make sure that they're achieving at the highest level. And for me, that's all I could ask for.
Kind of on the same topic as your first year, at the helm of this program, how have you kind of adjusted to the new setting, and what are you kind of most excited about going into this first season as head coach?
Yeah, the kids have made this super easy for me adjusting to the new setting. They've been really accommodating, really understanding. I'm not afraid to ask them questions of, hey, I don't know where this is, or I don't know where that is, or I don't have an answer for that, but let me get it to you. They've been really, really good at being able to answer some of those questions and alleviate some of that pressure of kind of walking in day one. So as much as they've relied on me for some stuff, I've also relied on them. So I think that's pretty cool. The thing I'm most excited about off the bat is, being able to play home in our first home game. Cool thing for us, our Code Red game, it's also against Randolph-Macon, who finished second in our league last year. So it's a really good opportunity for us to, have a test at home against a team that we know is pretty good and a team that, we know we can compete with at a pretty high level. So, I think I'm most excited to get back home and play in front of our fans. We got like 9 away games before we finally get into this place. So I'm really excited for that. And, the transition's been good. The kids have made it super easy, and like I said earlier in my intro, like, I'm super grateful and honored to be their coach. So for me, that's a win.
Coach, what's the kind of culture that you want to instill in this team?
Yeah, we want to play with a lot of energy. We want to play with a lot of grit. We want to play kind of relentless. I think that's a really big thing for us. I'm pretty big on letting them fail and find success through failure. So we're going to give them opportunities to try things without any real concern of, oh, well, that was bad, or this was a mistake, or that was a mistake. We want to play as free as possible. We want to be able to teach. We're really big on making them understand their why. So why they're doing the things they're doing. And the thing that we've seen over the last week and a half is they might make a mistake, but then we can see them auto-correcting themselves or giving feedback to each other, which for me is awesome, because that's what we want it to be, right? Like, they're the ones driving the car. We're just putting the gasoline in it, and they're the ones driving it in the direction they want to go into. So, we want to be together. That's a really important thing for us. We want to be together when we're in the gym. We want to be able to connect. We want to be able to trust each other, love each other, and communicate with each other openly and honestly. I think that's paramount. We want to work really hard when we get in here, and we want to compete, and we want to be able to play free. And they've demonstrated all of those characteristics all the way through, which has been awesome.
Obviously, coming into a new environment, there probably are going to be some challenges as we kind of move forward with the offseason. What do you think is the biggest challenge that you are looking to attack right away and build on throughout the?
Yeah. Biggest challenge right now is just kind of getting ready to go play on Friday, right? Like, there's going to be nerves on everybody's end. Like, I'm going to have some nerves. They're going to have some nerves. So I think right now that's probably our biggest challenge, is being able to be really confident in the skills that we're training, be really clear in our expectations and our process and what we want the end result to look like, and not worrying too much if it looks pretty right now or looks ugly right now. We don't really care about that at this moment. We just want to be able to get out there, and we want to be able to compete, try to shake up as many nerves as possible, and then go. We had our inter-squad scrimmage here last week. And set one was probably exactly what we thought, right? It was a little bit of nerves, a little bit shaky, and then we steadied out really fast, and we were really good for the remainder of that match. And, for me, that's what's really important, right? Like, there's going to be nerves at that first match against Meredith. Like, they're a top 50 team. They won 27 games, won their conference. Like, there's going to be some nerves on our end. There's going to be some nerves on their end, too. But like I said earlier, I believe in every single kid on our roster, 1 through 21. I believe in our coaching staff, and I believe in myself. So any challenges that are going to come our way, I know that everybody that's within this program, all 25 to 30 of us, like, we're going to get an answer to the problem. We're going to get it corrected. So I feel really confident where we are. I feel really confident in this group, and I think this group is going to make some waves this year that, I don't think people expect us to be able to make.
Coach, you lose a veteran leader due to injury before the season starts. How do you plan to fill that leadership role going into the season?
Yeah, losing Maya was pretty gut-wrenching. Losing a junior going into her senior year to an ACL injury on my second day on the job was pretty tough. I think the one thing that Maya and I talked a lot throughout the summer, it was, you are as much of a part of this team as you were before. So we've made sure that she's at everything. She's at every practice. She'll be on the bench with us. She will have some coaching responsibilities that way. She's a great leader. She's a great advocate. She talks to the team after huddles and things like that. So, although it's hard not having her on the floor, and although it's hard, losing that leadership on the floor, we have not lost that in any other capacity off the floor. We've gained something so special out of her. And that's a really big credit to her, because she didn't have to do that. She didn't have to want to come back here and be a great teammate. She didn't have to want to come back here and, coach the kids and do lessons and things like that. She was at every preseason practice, no exceptions. She's an absolute rock star. I really can't speak highly enough for her. And I think the one thing, and she might kill me for saying this, but when she told me she tore her ACL, she called me and told me, and she was like, hey, well, you could tell the team. I said, no, tell your team. Like, this is your team. Like, you tell your team what happened. At the end of that text sheet, but don't feel bad. We have an ODAC to go win. And I think for me, that was really cool. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it right now. Like, that kid is the heart and soul of this team. That team would do anything for that kid. And although she won't be able to put a jersey on and do it on the floor with them, she is doing it and probably leading that pack of this charge of this team throughout this year. And I'm very blessed and grateful that she decided to stick around, because she's going to be a big focal point for us, moving through the year, is trying to do it for Maya and put her out on the best foot possible.
Obviously, like you said, Maya is going to be a huge leadership point for this team. How do you kind of see the leadership roles kind of developing throughout the season? Are there any players on the team you expect to kind of take on leadership roles or more leadership roles as we kind of go through?
Yeah, it's a great question. To be honest, we're kind of working through that stuff right now. I've never been a big fan of designating captains, you know what I mean? Because some person might not feel comfortable in that role, and then we're putting them in a role that's going to take more energy from them. We're seeing a little bit of it now. Again, right now in the gym, we're just trying to play free. We're mixing things up. We're working as one cohesive unit and not one side versus another side or anything like that. It is one unit moving through. Yeah, I think we're going to find some kids that are going to find some voices in different moments, but I also think it's going to be pretty unique for us because we might have a kid that steps up in October, November with a voice that maybe didn't have a voice earlier in the year and has kind of found that as she's went. So, I let everybody, every time we finish a huddle, I say questions, comments, concerns, and, give everybody a chance to kind of speak. And if you want to speak in the huddle, you got the free reign to speak in the huddle. So we give everybody a voice to speak and talk about what they want to talk about. And, we all listen, and then, we make the adjustments as we need to. So not overly big on that. I think if you guys watch it from now until November, you might hear 8, 9, 10 kids speak up. And I think there's a lot of talent on this program where, we probably aren't going to be able to rely on the same kid the whole year, right? We're going to see a lot of people shine at different moments, and I think that's what makes this team so special is we're really, really deep.
Coach, have you been able to yet identify one or two particular strengths from a tactical standpoint?
Yeah, we receive the ball really well. That for us has been pretty awesome. They've really taken to the new training and the new technique. We use a lot of stats and a lot of analyticals to data to kind of look at that and figure out where we are. And we are above the trend line of where I think we need to be in order to win games at a pretty high clip. So we're obviously going to keep stressing that throughout the year because serve and pass is really important. But we are passing the ball really, really well at this moment, which is really exciting. We got a lot of offensive options. We're going to talk to all three of them here coming up here pretty shortly. They're just a small section of a lot of people that can go out there and do the job at a pretty high level. So I think we're going to serve, receive pretty well. I think we're going to have a lot of weapons offensively for our setters to be able to get the balls to. I think we're going to be pretty tough to stop because we have so many weapons. And I'm really big on being kind of aggressive at the service line. So we're going to serve the ball pretty tough. We have served the ball pretty tough. We're going to force teams into some pretty uncomfortable situations, and then we're going to be able to capitalize on the back end of those.
How do you kind of plan on keeping the team motivated and, just bought in and throughout the entire season? Obviously, you guys have a long schedule. What do you kind of anticipate that kind of, rolling out?
Yeah, so when I got here, we kind of scratched everything clean and said we're going to start over again from day one. This is our program and more importantly, your program. So how do we want to go about doing this? We did our standards as a group together. We did all that stuff together. And the one thing that we did here at the end was I talked to them about what do you want your traditions to be? So what do you want your traditions to be pre-match? What do you want your home win traditions to be? And what do you want your road victories to be? I think we're trending towards ice cream for road wins with some sprinkles, so that's always a win. I think for us, look, obviously the goal at the end of the day is to try to go up here and win a banner, right? Like we're going to have ebbs and flows, and I think that's the part of a staff that's really important is to be able to identify when things are starting to kind of get into a little bit of a lull and how we can pull them out of it. But, I'm really big on celebrating wins, and I'm really big on not harping on losses. Like we're never going to make a win feel like a loss, and we're never going to make a loss feel worse than it is, right? So we're going to try to get in and out of these things fast, but on the fun side of the sport, right? Like, hey, you win, you get some ice cream. Like, I'm gonna love some ice cream. So I think that's pretty cool for us to, I think those things are pretty big motivating factors too. Like they want to ring the bell. We're one of only a handful of sports here that haven't done that, so that's a really big motivating tool for them. And I think in the long term, that's going to be really beneficial for this program.
Coach, when you envision that road victory and you see yourself walking through that ice cream parlor door, what's the cone? What are you getting there?
Man, it's tough. I'm pretty generic, man. I like some vanilla with some hot fudge or something like that. Mr. Goody's in town's gotten a lot of my money, so throw some vanilla ice cream and a hot brownie with some sundae, and I'm a pretty stoked guy. But pretty simple. I'm not as you can tell, I kind of like my coffee, so I'll take some coffee ice cream. I'll take some over. Eli just saw me crush a cookie skillet here with some espresso coffee the other day. So options are endless, but I'm pretty basic, self-admitted, pretty basic.
And Coach, I might be exposing myself here, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
This new rule change on
Yep.
setting does
Yep.
affect you guys this year. How does that change the game style for you guys?
Yeah, look, I think setting a cleaner ball is always better than setting a ball that's got a lot of spin on it. So, I think the cool thing for us is I kind of encourage all of them to set it. So I let our middles set it. I let everybody set it. We don't talk about if it's a bad set. We just want them to be aggressive and get it with their hands. So, we spend some time working on it. I'm actually kind of intrigued to see what that looks like long term. I'm kind of a little upset that we changed it. I think it's a skill to be able to set it well, so I wish we didn't do it. But I think for I think for our front row kids and people that typically don't set, giving them a chance to use their hands and be a little bit of aggressive with that is a good thing. I think it's good for the sport, but I think we could teach kids to set it better, without spin and be able to set clean balls. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what it looks like. I'll have to probably correct myself more and not asking for doubles and just say it is what it is. We got to live with it. So we'll see what it looks like.
Awesome. Anything you'd like to add before we close out?
No, I appreciate you guys.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Appreciate you guys. No problem.